A handful of highly skilled divers are bringing WA's maritime history back to life before it disappears forever. Mostly self-funded, they're mapping historic wrecks off Fremantle by diving to depths beyond the reach of most. Jeff Parry has this exclusive report.
It's a home to fish, crayfish and a workplace for just a handful of highly trained divers. Their very specialised skills means they can descend down to 100 metres and more, well beyond the 40 metres for recreational divers. They call themselves WreckSploration, which pretty much sums up what they do, mapping the wrecks of old ships, sailing vessels, submarines and flying boats that lie off the back of Rottnest, a maritime graveyard.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of equipment, isn't it?
Andrew Oakley and Alex Aberley-Leeming started WreckSploration and turned it into a valued resource for the WA Museum.
We're in a very fortunate position to have a really specialised set of skills and equipment and training that allow us to execute really deep dives that are out of range of most divers.
The team now numbers half a dozen and they've built up an Aladdin's cave of air tanks and rebreathers that mix air and helium that sustain them on the sea floor. They dived off half a dozen Rottnest wrecks over the past year. Each dive is weeks in the planning and dependent on the weather.
The business end is down there and getting the footage and running our scooters over the wreck, and that portion of the dive is extremely busy. You know, you descended, you're turning on your lights, you're turning on your cameras, you're trying to run a pattern up and down the wreck, you're monitoring your rebreather, you're making sure your oxygen is okay, you're making sure the helium's right, you're making sure that you're not going to die. And then you've actually got to do the portion where you don't die, which is ascending at the appropriate rate.
That's a precise calculation. A 5-minute descent, 15 minutes on the bottom and 2 hours to get back to the surface.
Incredibly peaceful. It's just you, the water, the noise of your scooter and the other divers.
There are around 50 wrecks in the Rottnest ship's graveyard, some of them yet to be found. It's expensive work and mostly funded by the divers themselves. But what they bring back is stunning. Computer-generated 3D models stitched together from thousands of individual pictures brings Fremantle's maritime history back to life.
These 3D models that WreckSploration have been making are a real game changer for us because for the first time we can see these sites in real detail. So if we zoom right in here, we can look at the mass on the 3D model and match it up with historical images.
While the wrecks are degrading over time, these images will preserve them forever.
A lot of this stuff has been on the bottom of the ocean for almost 100 years. It's not going to be there forever. And if we don't bring these models back now, some people are never going to see it.
Jeff Parry, 7 News.